What's good, YouTube, man? It's your boy Sinister. Me back with another video, man. Today we're from reacting to Honeykomb Brazy's Cursed Childhood, man. So now this is from Trap Lore Ross's clips. This is squeezed or cut from the it was like divided into like a separate video, because I'm not gonna react to a 5 hour like documentary, you know what I'm saying? I could. I have the space for that on my laptop, but I just don't want to, because I'm gonna be sitting there for 5 hours looking at my computer screen. So I don't want to. So like I'll just like watch the like separate clips. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, man, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, turn that bell, man. Hope you're having a safe and blessed Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? June 12th. Let's get right into the video. Cursed Childhood.
Honeykomb Brazy, full name Nashawn Teran Mitez Jones, was born in Mobile, Alabama on the 23rd of February 1995. And despite there being some rumors that he was born in Atlanta, it's Mobile, Alabama on his birth certificate. At the time of his birth, his mother had only just turned 16, and she would post the birth certificate on Facebook with a caption revealing that she had indeed gotten pregnant at just 15 years old. And a young Honeykomb Brazy would seemingly spend much of his childhood in diamonds on her arm, diamonds in her ear, she wear the diamonds for you. I'm trying to treat you bad. African town community. As Brazy raps in his song 223, his upbringing was defined by poverty, with Brazy and his siblings regularly sleeping on the floor, and even claiming to have been literally born in the middle of the street. Moreover, the house was only a stone's throw away from the infamous large public housing project called the Josephine Allen Homes. These projects can even be seen behind a young Brazy, an old family photo likely taken in front of his grandparents' house. Growing up in these projects with hundreds of units and dozens of buildings was Honeykomb Brazy's introduction to the streets and the gang lifestyle, and it was also in these projects where he would end up losing his very first friends to the streets. In 2007, an 18-year-old man named Robert Lucas, known in the streets as Slick Rick, or just Slick, was gunned down by an undercover police officer who had arrived at the Josephine Allen Homes to investigate a call about drug activity. The officer claimed that Slick had pointed a gun at him during a chase, but the Happy Hills locals were outraged, demanding that officer should be fired. After the feds would become involved in the investigation, that officer was eventually found to be not guilty of any wrongdoing. And in a stark example of failing upwards, an officer named Paul Birch would eventually become the new Mobile County Sheriff in 2023. Brazy would later reminisce on Facebook, calling Slick the realist and saying F the Mobile police for shooting his friend 5 times and leaving him to die in the street, with commenters agreeing and dissing Paul Birch for the killing. Eventually, in 2011, the city of Mobile decided to close down and demolish the Josephine Allen Homes. However, that demolition would not take place until almost a decade later in 2020, and in June of 2011, when the projects were still inhabited, an intern from the Mobile Youth Survey would keep a blog on her summer job surveying young people in Mobile and discussing the environment around the Josephine Allen Homes projects, with these blog posts including long passages all about the shocking amount of gun violence that was witnessed in this area. And at the end of her week in the Happy Hills community, she would actually conclude by writing about the feeling of hopelessness that the youth in this neighborhood were feeling, fearful of them being consumed by the gang life like their older family members had been too. Being raised in such an environment by a family with deep ties to the streets, it didn't take long for a young Honeykomb Brazy to also get involved in the life of crime, and at just age 10 he would get his first major run-in with the law. Brazy and his friends would break into a store to go and ride go-karts and vandalize the place, with these wild childhood activities landing Brazy in trouble with the law very early in his life. Brazy later explained in an interview that he's been on probation ever since this incident, and he wouldn't even make it to high school as a result.
When was the first time you went to jail? What, 12, 13?
Now, like 10 years old, broke in the stove, broken room to go, bored.
Rooms to go.
Yeah, I broke in the factory though. They had a factory. I was just riding the golf cart and sitting in that whole the little thing, you little fuck. Just having fun for real, them folks out.
You broke in the rooms to go, like just riding go-karts, not really stealing anything, just having a good time.
Yeah, I up too though, knocking over too though. I was out up, like busted a snap machine and they're bad as fuck.
You wild as hell.
That's why I've been on probation ever since.
Dropping out of school so young likely pushed Brazy even further into the street life, and with his parents constantly being in trouble with the law too, he was left with only his grandparents to try and guide him. In a freestyle on Facebook Live, Brazy would rap about these times, apologizing to his grandmother for dropping out of school, where he rapped, "I did this for you, grandmama, and I know you mad I ain't make it through school, grandmama, and I'm mad I ain't make it through too." Unfortunately, for his young son, in 2008, Brazy's father, Big Comb, would catch the case that would take him out of the streets for good. But according to Honeykomb Jr., this would
shooting
stop his street activities.
July 7th.
Allegedly avoid trusted members on the outside to tend to his business whilst he was behind the wall. One of these trusted enforcers was Brazy's cousin. Around this time, Honeykomb Brazy was also sometimes living with his aunties and their families from both his mother's and his father's sides, finally giving him a chance to be part of a more normal family dynamic. Unfortunately, this wouldn't last long, because soon after his father had gone to prison for good, he would allegedly send a barely teenage Honeykomb Brazy on a dangerous mission that would almost end up destroying his life and the life of his cousin too.
But like I would stay on my mama though. I stay with my Aunt Tony, you know. But they shoot to my Aunt Nisha house sometime, but I end up shooting her son. That was my cousin, so you know, they all type of shit going on.
Whoa, wait. You shot your cousin?
Yeah, yeah.
Like on accident?
Nah, like on purpose.
Motherfucker, man.
Charges still from behind bars, Honeykomb would allegedly keep doing business in the streets, overseeing the operation that would be run on a street level by his closest confidants, one of them being Brazy's cousin, whose mother's house, Honeykomb Jr., was sometimes living in. Unfortunately, Big Honeykomb would eventually notice that some money had come up missing, leading him to believe that someone within his operation must have been stealing from the pot, with Big Comb's suspicions falling on his nephew, Brazy's cousin.
Was it like a family, like was it an argument? Like, can you take us through that situation?
Nah, that was like him and my dad, some shit with him and my dad, you know. He had goddamn, some money came on missing, I'm just gonna say that. Some money came on missing, there with my dad, you know, he was locked up. You know, they gave him life and shit, so I was tripping already. And he rent that to me, you know, I had with the whoop.
Big Honeykomb seemingly wanted his 13-year-old son, Honeykomb Jr., to go and handle this dispute over the drug debt with his own cousin, who he was at least sometimes living with. That cousin and Brazy's aunt lived in Plateau, another one of the older Africatown communities
Plateau.
across an interstate that runs through them. And so, on the instruction of his father, Big Comb, a 13-year-old Honeykomb Brazy and his friend...
Damn, bro, he even got the red Forgiatos. What the hell? Got the red hair, the clothes and shit. Like, he even got the shoelaces red, bro. That man got everything red, bro. Ah, damn.
Friends from the Happy Hills make their way to
He a blood, I think. Yeah.
shooting him and leaving him seriously injured and ultimately paralyzed.
I was like 13 years old. Like, Pop been on there since I was like 12 for real when he left. But I was 13 years old when I took the hit for him. And you know the streets know about that. I ended up paralyzing my cousin. About that right there. You know, paralyzed my own cousin. Took a hit from my pop. 13 years old, I took a hit from my pop, man. On dick, on blood, man. That's how I ended up on the prison when I was 15 years old. Y'all want to know the story? Wait till my dad to get on here and tell y'all. That's how I went to prison when I was 15 years old, man. I took a hit from my pop, man. On blood. I took a hit from my dad. Y'all never did no shit like that. 13 years old, your daddy hit you over here in jail. Man, they trying to give me life, man. They trying to give me life. Get it rent off.
I'll look for that later.
Man, for real, man, yeah, man. I'm telling you, man. You know, man, little man, I'm 13 years old. Then I go spin like the way.
After shooting his cousin, Brazy obviously couldn't just return back home.
Yeah.
His grandparents or auntie's cribs. And to make matters even worse, the family from his dad's side were now furious with him, with his own grandmother hoping for his death.
Yeah.
Wow, bro.
My grandma told me.
Like, you have to be really like there's no sense of hope and shit. Like you know you really messed up. Like, if your grandparents don't want you around no more. Like I'll be so disappointed in myself. Like, I wouldn't even want to just. Like, I wouldn't even want to be around nobody no more. Like, for you to even... That's crazy, man. But like, that's what... Man... I hope and pray that, like, I don't ever have to... Or nothing like this happen to anybody in my family, man. Because, you know... like me, I wouldn't want my grandparents hating me. Like, if my let's say like my mom and dad passed away, like, and my grandparents the only ones to take care of me. Like, if they don't want me around no more, that means I know I really fucked up. You feel me? That's not good.
Me on dead. Then my dad and mom. I'm like, what up? I hit them, they blow my phone. I'm like, what's up, brother? You gonna die with them? You gonna die with them? My grandma telling me, oh, blood, you gonna die with them, dad? Cause I had some happy hair with me when I did it, you feel me? But like, they ain't shooting it like that. They didn't have no guns. But they was at right now when it happened, you my cousin from Plateau. I'm from Happy Hill. That's right across the street from each other, So we did it. We shot back to Happy Hill. When I did this, I did it in front of everybody, though. Pop said run it. So, you gotta do it. Just do it. It's done. I really does it.
So, with the police and his own family after him, Honeykomb Brazy would have to lay low, and at only age 13, he went on the run, actually managing to stay hidden for several months, until he was eventually found and charged at just age 14, leading to a 3-year sentence at the Strickland Youth Centre.
So 16. Oh, so he get out when he was 17.
I got out when I was turning 17. I was like 16 when I got out. I was turning 17.
Oh, okay.
Many years on from this incident would actually
So like his birthday late.
That he doesn't have anything against his cousin, and that he would have handled things completely differently today.
I was young then, though. Like right now, I don't know if I still do that again, cause I still fuck with Bud. It was just a misunderstanding, but I would have thought better about it. But I was young, then my dad was telling me to run it. So dad is telling me to run it. Finna run it. You know how that go. So I read that bit though.
And Brazy's also talked about this incident in his music. For example, in the song Gucci Flow, Brazy mentions taking a hit from his dad and paralyzing his own blood, as well as claiming that he was actually charged as an adult, although he was only 15 years old at the time of the sentencing. Brazy would also mention the incident in his first and biggest hit song, Freestyle, where he mentions his grandma being in tears due to his actions, as well as people calling his phone and telling him what he did was wrong. Thankfully, his cousin has now made a full recovery and can even walk again. And Brazy has apparently even rekindled his relationship with his cousin, explaining how he used to look up to him when he was younger and how his dad treated the cousin like he was his son, and he was the nephew.
That's where it starts.
We straight now, though. We cool.
Okay? So you shoot your cousin, he gets paralyzed. What is your relationship like afterwards?
He came. I ain't gonna. I with him. We straight. Cause I used to look up to him when I was young. You feel me? Like I used to look up to him. Like my dad would pick him on type. He was like my dad treated him like that was his son. And I was like the nephew for real.
Before reaching the age of 17, Honeykomb Brazy had already experienced a long bit in jail, several years on probation, and at this point he was clearly desensitized to violence and completely unafraid of prison, with this setting a dangerous precedent in his life for the years that followed. And after returning home to the Happy Hills neighborhood with his grandparents Tony and Sheila Lewis, Brazy would continue his reckless lifestyle, catching yet another very serious case soon after this.
Man, that's gonna wrap it up, man. Man, hey, man, I don't want to have to take a pop at my own cousin, man, cause we not talking, we not on good terms either. But I'm not gonna, excuse me, I'm not gonna take a pop at him. You know what I'm saying? Cause we have history, but that's why it's called history, though. You feel me? But I don't really know what to say about that, man. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, turn that bell. Hope you have a safe and blessed Wednesday, man. And I'm out, man. Peace.